Well, Kate, thanks so much for joining us today. This is the first of the Bonded podcast series, so we're very pleased to have you as a guest. Thanks so much for joining us. The new Only Connect Bonded podcast that we're hosting here today.
Only Connect, I love it.
Yeah, I got it. We're hosting it here today in a brilliant venue, the Time Bank Brewery, where we later will be hosting the NABS quiz, which is also the first we've done in Newcastle, so really special day. And to talk about special moments, it's actually 25 years since you joined NABS.
Gosh, yes.
Fantastic. So we're going to be running through a little bit of the journey that you've been on with NABS. And I'm just really pleased that you made the trip up to Newcastle as well, which, I believe has a special place in your heart.
It's a very special place for me. So yes, thank you for inviting me. I feel really privileged to be the first to do this, and Only Connect is a kind of mixed blessing in our house. We love it, but we hate it. It's so difficult, that quiz programme. I don't know if you've ever played it. It's a nightmare. But we put ourselves through that torture every week. It's a very special city for me. I met my husband here at an industry awards 20 years ago now.
Yes.
I was doing a speech about NABS. They were raising funds for NABS, and my husband was a judge of the creative awards of this awards that we were both attending. As he told me very soon after I met him, it was actually Gateshead, because it was on the other side of the river, not to be confused with proper Geordie land.
It's very important.
It's a pleasure to be here. And the NABS, 25 years at NABS, I did realise that, but it's still quite a shocking thing to actually articulate.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So how did you first get involved in NABS all those years ago?
Well, it's funny actually, because I think you do know this, that we actually have what's called NABS ambassadors. Now, it's a kind of a representative in each company within the industry who helps spread the words about NABS, help raise funds, etc., etc. And I've worked in advertising as an account handler, and I was always what we called then NABS rep. So NABS is always quite dear to my heart. And anyway, long story short, I worked in advertising all my life. I ended up on the board of Grey. It wasn't really for me. It was a bit too kind of corporate for me. I much preferred it when I worked in smaller, more creative hot shops like Ligas Delaney and Mellis Ray, and worked on some really interesting pieces of business, and loved it. So when I found myself in Grey through a merger, I thought, no, I'm not comfortable here. I don't know what I'm going to do. Then the phone rang. This is cutting a very long story short, hopefully short enough. The phone rang, and it was a friend of mine who was on one of the committees at NABS, and she was a very, sadly no longer with us, a very, very well-respected headhunter in the industry, who had been given the brief to find the next, what was then director of NABS. And she asked me if I'd like to be considered for the role. And I was very flattered, really, really flattered and scared. But I thought, do you know what, this sounds like it could be kismet, it could be the right timing for me. So I said, yes, I'd love to be put forward. And I went through the whole interview process, which was very long and drawn out, as it should be, because it's a very important role. And I was very lucky to be interviewed by the wonderful Jeremy Bullmore, who was president of NABS at the time. I met him in his office, which was, I don't know if some of you listening might have seen his office. It was like going into a lawyer's office. So you could barely see him because he was hiding behind all these massive piles of paper. He and I didn't really talk about NABS. We talked about the BBC and cricket for about an hour. And 2 days later, I was sitting in my office in Grey, on Great Portland Street. The phone rang, and Wendy said, Kate, we'd like to offer you the job. And I shared an office with a fantastic planner, very studious girl. And I screamed and practically threw the phone on the floor, and I said, I've got the job, I can't believe it. And that was it. And I was terrified, but very excited by the prospect, because NABS at the time, even though it was a very well-respected part of the industry, it was, I think it would be safe to say, slightly misunderstood organisation. Well-loved but misunderstood. And there was a big job to be done in terms of bringing it up to date and making it more relevant, and really connecting more with people in the industry than we had done before. So it was a big job to do, but I had a lot of support. And am I talking too much?
No,
it's a long
fantastic
answer to your question.
No, I mean, it's incredible as well to listen to it. I mean, for the listeners, how long has NABS been going?
It's been going for, I think it was, hang on, when was it, 1913? So over 110 years. Yeah, and it started when there was no welfare state. And so obviously that's in the First World War. Even I'm not that old. But we were looking after war widows of mostly, men who worked in the advertising industry, which was basically Fleet Street. And there was no welfare state, so these widows were left with nothing. So that's how NABS was started. I can't remember the name of the person who started it.
No.
But yeah, it's been going that long.
Yeah, incredible.
And it's changed, obviously has changed a lot over that time.
Yeah, fantastic. So thinking back to 2000, you took that role on, and there was so much even to go out and focus on. Over was it sort of a 5-year period that you were in London doing that?
Yes, it was 5 years. I was in London and the role then became chief executive, and then this is when I met my husband here, and I moved up north to be with him, and I carried on as CEO while they were trying to find someone to replace me. And then I created the role of regional director because I'd always, in my role in London, felt very strongly that the N in NABS stood for, and still does, stands for national. And we need to have representation and genuine representation beyond the M25.
Yes.
So the regional kind of stuff has always been really important to me. So I was very happy to take on that role as a part-time role once I moved out of London. And that's what I've been doing ever since.
Oh, fantastic. And again, for, I guess, the benefits of the listeners, there's a London committee, like really strong London hub, if you like, but there's a Manchester committee, there's a Scottish committee, there's now a North East committee. And are there any plans at this stage to expand it out, or maybe in the future?
I think what we need to do, having you as chair of the new cost, and thank you for that, of the new cost committee, is fantastic. And we're just putting our toe in the water, just to start things off, just to start getting connections with people in the city and the North East in general. Just to start to talk to people about what it is that we do at NABS, how we can support the industry here and individuals within it. So that's the starting point of any new region or city or whatever you want to call it that we start to get involved with. Manchester came first because it was, it's a secondary market for all of us in this country, isn't it? And then Scotland. So Newcastle comes next. Then we're also going to start looking at Yorkshire. But there is a limit to what we can do, and what we need to do is do things slowly, properly, strategically, and create meaningful dialogue with those industries and those parts of the country, with a long-term view of hopefully increasing our revenue from those parts of the country, because the fact is we help people all over the country, but not everybody all over the country know that they need to support us financially in order for us to be able to continue to do that. So that's my mission, my continuing mission. I don't know how much longer I'll do it for, but I've got a great team of people working with me. And our London team, the CEO, Sue Todd, and Commercial Director Nikki Harris, and everybody working with them on the leadership committee, so on the leadership team, are incredibly supportive of what it is that I'm trying to do. The regional strategy is a big part of NABS's future strategy, which makes me very happy.
Yeah, fantastic. And the data that NABS holds and we share it, or have shared at events where we're supporting NABS, there's certainly a growing need and demand for the services that NABS offers around supporting people in our industry. It's an invaluable service that is offered by the charity. Is it possible to share a little bit about the services that are offered, perhaps with an example of the types of people that you've helped in the past?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going back to what you were just saying about data. We're much better with it now. And actually gathering data so we can communicate better with people is really important, so that we can make sure that people know that we're here for them. But just a couple of one number really, which is quite salient to your question, which is in the last 12 months, we've seen the advice line calls go up to, we've hit just over 5,200 calls in the last 12 months, which is the highest it's ever been, which is sad in one way, because it means more people need us. But I also think it's a good thing, because hopefully it means that our messages are getting out there and people are understanding more clearly of what it is that we can do to support them. And just a few examples, we have a confidential free-to-use advice line, which is where all these calls come into.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to be a crisis for people to pick up the phone and talk to us. We encourage people to talk to us about anything that they're concerned about. Most companies, not most companies, a lot of companies have fantastic HR teams, and not everybody does. We're an extension of your HR team, you could put it like that. We're there for, managers and new people into the industry, into the business alike, absolutely anybody who has an issue and they want to discuss something confidentially. And it could be personal as well.
Yes.
Because, some of the people that we see who are coming to us in a crisis situation, it often starts with a problem at home, like somebody's partner gets sick and then they need to take time off to look after them. They come under financial pressure, there's emotional strain there, and then that kicks in and can affect people's performances at work. So what we're trying to do is work in a holistic way to try and support whatever those issues are, and give pointers as to how we can help them. So we can help them with financial grants if they're in desperate straits. But what we're increasingly doing, and we're happy to be doing, is more kind of preventative work. So helping people through, helping build their confidence at work. We do all sorts of workshops through, like building resilience to pressure, helping people with leadership. We've got a fantastic new course called Managers' Mindsets. Because what we found through our research was that the majority of people who are suffering or feeling as though they need support with their mental health or just support in general at work go to their immediate manager, not necessarily to the HR. And not necessarily all these, managers have the skills or have been trained to deal with some of the problems that they're facing. So we've developed a course that specifically addresses this. So managers feel supported in what they're having to deal with. And we've also, within this course, helping people identify when they can see somebody suffering or struggling. Because often I'm waffling a bit, probably, sorry.
No.
This is my passion in a way about it. People find it quite hard, don't they, talking about what's going on? And I think in our industry, which is still pretty competitive, some people can find it hard sticking their hand up and going, I need help, for fear of being judged or passed over for promotion or something like that. We want people to understand that it's okay to do that. We want to help organisations find ways of letting people know that it's okay to do that, thereby, preventing people from getting into real trouble. Let's catch it early, and we can really do something about it. I need a sip of water.
That's fine. Thank you. And, the tenure that you've had to date, that's sort of 25 years this month. What's kept you so engaged? What's the reason why you've sort of been so committed to supporting NABS and the great work it does?
I think it's because I've seen that we make a tangible difference to people's lives. And, that really is how I feel about it. And having been somebody who's always worked in advertising, and I don't mind sharing some of my, I've had some difficult times in advertising. And I've been one of those people who've been afraid to put their hand up and say, I'm not coping very well, for fear of being seen as not quite adequate to do the job that I'm employed to do. So I feel as though I have a lot of empathy with the people who come to us, and being able to use that and channel that empathy into making a difference to people is something that I really value and I'm really proud of. And I think, to be honest, I think everybody who works at NABS has those feelings. Most people who are on our team have worked in the industry, but even if they haven't, they understand the industry so well. And we make it our business to understand the industry that well. If you're getting 5,000 calls a year, you're talking to a lot of people about what's going on in the industry. I think we understand what's going on in the industry better than anybody else, and we are finding ways to increasingly finding ways to tackle those issues and try and really champion everybody working in the industry.
Yeah.
It's not just about mental wellness, it's about mental fitness. It's such a brilliant industry to work in. It can be so fantastic, but it can be so tough. And that's the reason why, I just think, because I've been there and had some fantastic times and some pretty difficult times. I get it, and I can absolutely see the value in NABS. I think as an industry, we're incredibly lucky that we have this organisation. Not every industry does. And I think that it's testament to the fact that actually the majority of people who work in our industry do care about their people. They just need a helping hand to help people, support people, give people what they need to make them thrive and be the best person they can possibly be and enjoy their careers and their lives in general. That sounds a bit grand, but I genuinely think that NABS has a big hand in that, and that's why it still means as much as it does to me.
Brilliant. I mean, I think with all the growth in technology and a lot of the narrative that we see in our space, particularly in the digital sphere, but I'd say across the traditional advertising as well, so I'll term it that, it's often almost temporarily forgotten or overlooked slightly that we are people businesses. We're doing work, people doing work with people. We're a people-centric industry, and I think to coin I don't want to misquote, but we're nothing without our people. I think we've said that at events before, haven't we? So we need to support our people, and otherwise, it's going to be a negative for everyone. But it's great. It's good to hear, that recognition of that, but also the personal experience really compelling you to sort of understand. And picking up something you mentioned there around, or alluded to around, advertising. It can be one of those industries that it can be challenging from be that a Wellbeing or and I know it's not just the Wellbeing charity, it's about supporting people in their careers, isn't it? And
Absolutely.
You referenced there providing the support to organisations so that who are people businesses, to help support their people and develop them. But I think that anchor back to advertising can be quite a stressful industry, and it can be quite pressurised in different ways. Almost sort of adds fuel to the need for NABS and the value that the NABS offers, if you like, to help develop people, but also support them in that.
Thank you.
That can be a stressful environment. So, fast forward to this week. In fact, we've got an exciting development. The NABS rebrand.
Yeah, absolutely. In all time for Mental Health Awareness Week. And I've got my yellow jacket on. But it's not quite yellow, it's sort of goldy yellow. And it was kind of accidental. But I'm all branded up. Now, it's a really, what's been wonderful about it, it's been a really collaborative experience. So, and NABS is a very collaborative organisation. It's brilliant, because everyone has great ideas. They don't just come from one place. It's just a great organisation. So we've all been involved in it. There's been a lot of input. I'm looking at it on the screen now. And I think one of the things that NABS has struggled with over the years is really articulating clearly what it is that we do, because we do so much. It's quite difficult to be a single-minded brand and have that single-minded expression that people go, I see what you do. If you say we're the industry charity, but what does that mean? So we are the industry charity that's helping you move forward. That's perfect for me. It says it all in a nutshell. And then actually, if you go on the website, and I encourage everybody to do that, it has never been clearer what it is that we stand for and what it is that we can do to help you as an individual, you as an organisation. And I think it's going to really help us get our message out there to people so that we can help more people then we're already helping, and they can help raise more money to help more people. It's very exciting, and I'm very proud of it.
Yeah.
It's good. And talking of signposting people to us, that's really important as well. So if you do see somebody who you think might be having a tough time, then just get them to call us. It's completely confidential.
Yes.
I know I'm going slightly off-piste again, aren't I?
I think that's a
but it
really
is
important
important
point, though, isn't it? Because it's there to support us as individuals, and I would suggest the preconception on that is, if you're struggling, call up, which is correct. But in addition to that, often the challenges are that if an employee is struggling with their mental health or their well-being, or going through a challenging time, it's often very difficult for their managers or whoever is there in the organisation and close to them to really know how to handle that. And often one may see that in organisations, and what I've heard from people that have lent into NABS, through the videos that we've watched that have been created for NABS to sort of communicate the great work you've done. It's often the employer doesn't understand, and therefore the employee doesn't feel supported through that process. So it's almost as valuable for the people that are there to support that individual in the organisation to also have that outlet to be able to...
Completely.
Yeah. I think that's a big challenge, in our industry, but also probably wider society, that, we're still not educated enough around the subject matters of people struggling with their mental health and their well-being, and therefore it's not, through that lack of education, it's not easy to be able to know what to do.
Exactly.
It's not that people are bad people, it's like they just don't know.
No, and I think that can put so much pressure on you. If you see somebody who's in trouble but you don't know how to handle it, you might avoid talking to them about it, because you might think you might be triggering something, and then you don't have the skills or the equipment to deal with what comes out of that conversation. So I'm not trying to plug this again, but I'm going to. The Managers' Mindsets training is absolutely, honestly, we've got people are ringing us all the time and booking on. So if anybody wants to do it, just get in touch with us, because it really will make a difference, and will make a difference to your business, and will help prevent people from falling so far into, not get to the burnout stage, falling into some kind of crisis. We don't want that to happen. Let's catch people before they go there, and we can all have a part to play in that, and that's what NABS is here to support.
Yeah, fantastic. So what's next for NABS? Obviously, you've had the rebrand launch this week.
Oh yeah,
which is significant. I guess that rolling out this new rebrand and getting it out there and utilising that to do more great work for NABS and be even more effective. I guess that's the next steps around.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to make us stronger. I think it makes it easier for us to tell the story. I think it will engage more people. I think it hopefully will encourage more people to come to us, and will encourage more support. I mean, that's really what we need. All the fundraising events that we do are incredibly important, and we get incredible support from people like yourselves at Bonded and everybody else, all the other agencies involved tonight and companies involved tonight. And donations are really important as well. But really crucially, it's bringing people together is really good. So we're going to have 130 people, possibly more here tonight, which is absolutely phenomenal. And that'll mean that I've got the opportunity to talk to and talk to those people, and so there'll be another 100 and whatever people in the industry in the Northeast who knows what we do. So I don't know if I'm answering your question.
No, I mean it lines back to the raising awareness.
Yeah, absolutely. And the rebrand is to do just that, and will hopefully it's a rebrand, it's a brand refresh, whatever you want to call it. But hopefully it will make people think again about what it is that we're all about, and go not reconsider us, but reconnect with us. Go, yes, NABS, of course that's what they do. And for people who do know, and yes, NABS are fantastic, to look at us again and go, God, I didn't know they did that. That's absolutely brilliant. Right, I know somebody who needs them. I will get them on the phone. I will book that training course for them. I'll get them a coach. I'll send them on the Building Confidence and Gravitas masterclass. They've got a pitch in 6 weeks. They're nervous about making a presentation. Let's help them get there so they can feel happy about themselves and not stressed and anxious, but know that they can do a really good job and move forward in their career, because that's what we want to help people with.
Well, thanks so much. I think on that note, it's a good point to bring the podcast to an end. I don't want to say that, but yeah, thanks so much for taking the time to chat today.
Thank you.
It's great, and looking forward to a lovely evening and getting the NABS name out there and sort of communicating all the great work that the charity does.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you. All right.